Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Right now, I want you to stop and reflect. Have you ever been completely caught off guard by a woman's emotions? One moment she's warm, present, even flirtatious, and the next she's withdrawn, almost cold, leaving you searching desperately for answers. Today, I'm going to share something most men will never truly grasp about female psychology. Women fall in love with a man for only two reasons, not four, not six, just two. And once you recognize them, you'll begin to see patterns in every relationship you've ever experienced. Here's the truth nobody tells you: women don't fall for who you are, they fall for what you make them feel. That's it. Every interaction, every look, every word, they're measuring how you affect them emotionally. Are you safe? Are you stimulating? Do you make them feel seen, valued, alive? These aren't shallow evaluations. They are embedded into female psychology. And if you overlook this, you will always find yourself frustrated, pursuing someone who will never truly open up. The first reason is security, not just financial, though that plays a part. I mean emotional, mental, and social security. Women are searching for a man who can ground them in uncertainty, someone whose presence makes them feel protected in a world that constantly disrupts their peace of mind. But notice this: it's not about being flawless. It's about consistency, steadiness, and a quiet strength that signals you can weather the hardships of life. When a woman senses that, she exhales, she lowers her defenses, and that's when attachment begins to grow, sometimes so naturally you won't even notice when it started. The second reason is desire, not just physical desire, but emotional and intellectual desire. Women want to feel pulled toward you, challenged by you, fascinated by you. They fall for a man who makes them feel fully alive, whose presence ignites theirs. If you're predictable, too passive, or emotionally dull, that spark never catches. But if you understand quiet tension, playful energy, and the strength of your own frame, you become irresistible. Most men fail because they focus entirely on one of these, the protector or the spark, but never both. The balance is absolutely everything. Mastering this duality completely shifts the way women perceive you. They don't just see you, they can't stop thinking about you. And this is the insight most dating advice completely misses. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to activate both reasons naturally, and you'll begin to notice how women around you are already responding, sometimes without even being aware of it. Now, let's uncover the first reason: security. Because if you misread this, you'll keep repeating the same exhausting pattern. Women who seem drawn in but suddenly disappear, leaving you questioning everything about yourself. Security is not about wealth, physique, or broadcasting your status. Those things have their place, yes, but at the foundation, security is about certainty. A woman needs to feel that when you speak, your words carry weight, that when difficulty arrives, you don't crumble, that when life challenges you, you don't shatter. Consider this. Have you ever witnessed a man who wasn't wealthy, wasn't flashy, wasn't even particularly striking, yet women were always naturally drawn to him? You might have wondered what he had. The answer is straightforward. His presence makes women feel grounded, not in a dull way, but in a deeply reassuring way. She knows he won't unravel emotionally if she tests him. She knows he won't become desperate if she creates distance. That steadiness is magnetic. Women exist in a world where their emotions can shift without warning. Hormones, social expectations, constant attention, and buried fears. They navigate waves of uncertainty more than men ever realize. So when she encounters a man whose emotional foundation is solid, it feels like shelter during a storm. That's why confidence isn't about volume or arrogance. It's about the quiet calm of a man who doesn't easily get shaken. Here's what most men never figure out: security is expressed in small moments. The way you handle silence when she's hurting, the way you don't overjustify yourself when she questions you, the way you hold firm in your values without forcing them on her. Women are extraordinary at reading these signals, often before you've even finished speaking. And when she feels that strength, she can settle into her feminine energy. That's when something deeper begins to form. But listen carefully. Security does not mean becoming her emotional outlet or surrendering to her every demand. That is weakness dressed up as devotion. True security is about boundaries, self worth, and demonstrating that you can love fully while still standing firm. And paradoxically, when she senses you can walk away if disrespected, her admiration for you rises dramatically. This is why certain men attract commitment effortlessly, while others are forever kept at a distance. Women don't choose men they can manage. They choose men who build a foundation they can rely on. Now, we need to explore the second reason women fall in love: desire. And let me offer you this truth: security without desire feels like comfort, not passion. That's why so many men end up in the role of the nice guy. She values you, she respects you, she may even express that she cares, but her heart doesn't quicken when she thinks of you. Desire is what makes her restless in the most beautiful way. It's the current that makes her think of you when you're absent, the reason she smiles at her screen without explanation, the reason she replays your conversations quietly in her mind late at night. But what genuinely creates desire? Not appearance alone, not wealth, not charm practiced in front of a mirror. Desire is born from contrast. It's when a man reveals depth, dimensions she cannot fully anticipate or contain. Desire grows when she feels you are slightly beyond her reach, not because you're being strategic, but because you have a direction, a purpose, and an energy that she must earn her place in. Women want to be selected, not handed a man's complete heart without effort from the very start. Consider this: the men who generate desire are not the ones messaging constantly, over explaining, or pursuing endlessly. They are the ones who hold their frame, who let silence settle, who meet her gaze with quiet certainty, who engage with a blend of warmth and mystery. Desire is about tension, and tension requires distance. When she doesn't completely know where she stands, when she senses you have depth, when she feels the pull of earning your genuine focus, that's when desire takes over completely. Here's the paradox most men never grasp: if you consciously try to make her desire you, you destroy it. The very act of pursuing, justifying, or convincing extinguishes the spark entirely. Why? Because desire cannot be manufactured. It's awakened. It's triggered when your presence communicates that you are a man she could lose, a man who doesn't require her, yet genuinely selects her. That choice makes her feel something real. And here's something even more profound: women often confuse themselves when desire takes hold. They'll rationalize it, resist it, deny it, but they cannot outrun it. You've likely witnessed it. She insists you're not her type, yet she keeps returning. She claims she doesn't feel anything, yet every action tells a different story. That's desire. It moves past logic and reaches directly into her emotions. Now, here's where things become uncomfortable. Security without desire makes you dependable but forgettable. Desire without security makes you thrilling but temporary. Most men fail because they lean completely into one and abandon the other entirely. The nice guy builds security. He's present, always available, always giving, but she never experiences that deep magnetic pull. He becomes her confidant, her source of comfort, but never quite her man. On the other side, the player generates intense desire. She can't stop thinking about him, she's drawn completely to his energy, but without genuine security, she never fully lowers her guard. That's why she keeps him close for excitement, but quietly looks elsewhere for something real. Women want both, but here's the truth: they don't expect to find it in every man. That's why so many women will tell you he's a good guy, or he's exciting, but not quite right. What they're truly expressing is this: he gave me one reason to feel something, but not both. And without both, Love cannot take root. It stays on the surface, passing, fragile. You might think this sounds unrealistic. How do you embody both the anchor and the current? But that's precisely what awakens the deepest layer of a woman's psychology. She wants to feel protected and desired simultaneously. She wants to feel your steadiness, but also the thrill of your unpredictability. She wants the certainty that you're committed, but also the awareness that you'd walk away without hesitation if she stopped showing respect. This duality is what makes her love you in a way she's never quite loved anyone else. Here's where men destroy themselves. They over-deliver security, thinking it will purchase affection, or they overplay desire, thinking it will make them unstoppable. Both strategies backfire. Why? Because when you provide too much security, she starts taking you for granted. When you rely entirely on desire, she concludes she can never fully trust you. The balance is delicate but transformative. You demonstrate security by being consistent, composed, and dependable. You ignite desire by being spontaneous, playful, and just slightly beyond her grasp. Too much stability, suffocating. Too much chaos, draining. But the combination of both, that's intoxicating. That's when a woman can't get you out of her head no matter how hard she tries. This is why certain men become unforgettable while others simply fade from memory. If you've ever felt like a woman was playing games with you, let me offer you the truth. She wasn't only playing, she was measuring. And those measurements are never random, they are deeply embedded into female psychology. Every woman, knowingly or not, will test you to evaluate whether you can offer both security and desire. It's not because she wants to cause pain, it's because her heart and her future depend on the answer. Consider this. When she suddenly pulls back, doesn't reply quickly, or gives you attitude without an obvious reason, most men panic. They chase. They over explain. They beg for understanding. That reaction immediately destroys both security and desire. Why? Because it reveals that your emotions are unstable, that you can be unsettled, that you require her approval just to feel whole. A man who crumbles under pressure communicates fragility, and fragility, regardless of how generous or caring, never creates attraction. Now reverse it entirely. Imagine when she withdraws, and instead of pursuing, you stay calm, patient, unaffected. You don't react. You don't collapse. You don't rush to resolve it. You create space. You hold your frame. You continue building your life. That composure radiates security, and paradoxically, it also reawakens desire because she realizes you are not governed by her emotions. You are the man who establishes the tone. Here's another test she'll run. She'll sometimes challenge your principles. Perhaps she'll dismiss your ambitions, question your choices, or push against limits you've established. Most men surrender, believing that yielding will generate love. It won't. When you compromise your own standards, you forfeit both her respect and her attraction simultaneously. A man who protects his values without hostility, without superiority, but with quiet certainty, he passes every time. That's the man she can genuinely trust. And finally, the most understated test of all. She'll place opportunities in front of you to lead, choosing where to eat, planning something for the weekend, even navigating small unexpected challenges. Fail to lead, and she feels exposed. Lead too forcefully, and she feels suffocated. Lead with grounded confidence, and she experiences both security and excitement at once. Understand this deeply. Every test is not an assault, it's an opening. She wants to know if you're the man her heart can trust and her soul can crave simultaneously. Fail the test, and her feelings fade. Pass it, and they deepen, often without her even understanding why. Here's a truth most men will never recognize. Before a woman admits she's falling, her body and behavior begin revealing it first. These signals are quiet, sometimes completely invisible to someone not paying attention. But once you learn to see them, they appear everywhere. And when you spot them, you'll know precisely where you stand with her without requiring a single word from her. The first signal is attention. A woman falling in love doesn't simply give you time, she gives you her focus. She begins retaining the smallest details about you: how you take your coffee, a story you shared once about growing up, the quiet habits you never imagined anyone noticed. That's not passing interest, that's her mind rooting itself in you. Another signal is her comfort with vulnerability. When she begins trusting you, she'll share things she normally keeps hidden: her anxieties, her insecurities, her most private aspirations. Women don't open like this with every man. If she starts dismantling her walls, it means she's experiencing the kind of security that only ignites love. But be careful. If you dismiss or minimize what she shares, you shatter that tender connection immediately. There are also the physical indicators. A woman developing feelings will unconsciously mirror your movements, folding her arms when you do, leaning forward when you draw closer. Her gaze will linger just a moment longer. Her smile will surface at unexpected times. She'll manufacture reasons for brief contact: passing close beside you, adjusting something on your jacket, tapping your arm playfully. These are never accidents. They are instinctive expressions of growing attachment. But perhaps the most powerful signal of all is investment. A woman falling in love starts making you a priority within her life. She reshapes her schedule, she reaches out more consistently. She values your perspective before reaching decisions. She begins threading you into the rhythm of her everyday existence. That's not convenience. That's silent commitment taking shape. Here's the reality: most men overlook these signals because they're too consumed with seeking verbal confirmation. They need her to say it directly, but women rarely announce their emotions early. They express them through action and quietly observe whether you notice. If you do, and you respond with steady assurance, her feelings grow. If you miss it entirely, uncertainty enters, and she starts questioning whether she made the right choice. Here's the painful part: most men undermine love without ever seeing it happen. A woman starts to fall. Her signals are visible, her emotions are stirring, but rather than honoring that fragile flame, men extinguish it. They smother it with insecurity, excessive pursuit, or emotional unpredictability. And then they wonder, what went wrong? She was there, and now she's completely withdrawn. Let me explain precisely why this occurs. The first error is over-validation. When a woman shows interest, many men respond with full intensity: constant compliments, relentless messaging, flooding her with attention. Initially, she may appreciate it, but quickly it shifts. Why? Because when you offer too much too soon, she senses you don't value yourself. She hasn't worked for that level of devotion yet. And somewhere within her, she begins questioning why you surrender it so effortlessly. It makes her trust you less, never more. The second error is neediness disguised as affection. You believe you're being attentive, wanting constant time together, checking in to see if she's all right every few hours, attempting to be her entire world. But what she experiences is weight. It signals that you have nothing beyond her. And if you have nothing else, you carry no real value. Women are drawn to men who expand their world, not men who compress their entire existence into hers. The third error is emotional instability. Perhaps she tests you. Perhaps she creates distance for a moment, and you respond with frustration, anxiety, or withdrawal. That eliminates both security and desire in a single moment. Because if she can shake you that effortlessly, you aren't the man she believed you to be. Love cannot survive within the grip of instability. And here's the most destructive error of all: surrendering mystery. When a man reveals every thought, every emotion, every intention up front, he leaves nothing remaining for her to uncover. Love feeds on curiosity. When you eliminate that curiosity, you remove the spark entirely. She understands you completely, she possesses you fully, and suddenly the wonder disappears. What men fail to recognize is that love doesn't collapse in dramatic moments. It dissolves quietly through repeated acts of overexposure, overgiving, and overreacting. And once it's gone, she never returns quite the same. She may remain physically present, but her heart has already quietly departed. Now we reach the truth that distinguishes fleeting attraction from a bond that endures. A woman may fall in love through security and desire, but she remains in love for a single reason because you continue embodying both without compromise. Love is not a reward you claim once, it's a fire that requires fuel, not grand gestures or relentless pursuit, but unwavering consistency in who you choose to be. Here's what most men never understand: women don't leave men because their love ended. They leave because the man ceased being the version she originally fell for. Gradually, he became comfortable. He stopped leading. He stopped challenging her. He stopped making her feel both protected and alive. Slowly, the energy shifted, and she began wondering, where did that man disappear to? That's when love quietly ends, not because she chose it, but because he allowed it. To remain in a woman's heart, you must preserve your foundation. Never stop evolving. Never stop honoring your purpose. Never stop being unpredictable enough to keep her engaged, yet dependable enough to make her trust you with everything she is. She needs to feel you will safeguard her world, but also disturb her world just enough to keep her captivated. That balance is what sustains her love across years, even lifetimes. Think about the couples who remain deeply passionate after decades together. It isn't luck, it isn't coincidence. It's a man who never dulled his edge, who never stopped being worth the effort, who never allowed comfort to soften his standards. He made her feel safe, but also made her sense that she could lose him if she stopped cherishing him. That's the paradox that keeps love truly alive. So, if you want to be unforgettable, if you want to be the man she never fully moves past, understand this. She falls in love for two reasons: security and desire. But she remains in love when you embody both every single day without exception. That's the truth most men will never encounter. But now you carry it. Let me leave you with this. In your last relationship, do you believe she was drawn in by your security or your desire? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this gave you a new perspective, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more, and pass it along to someone who truly needs to hear this.